Let's take a look at the anatomy of the femur in a 3D model, and we're going to do so using a program known as Anatomy App, and I'll go ahead and I'll put the link in the description. So this here is your femur. It is a long bone, and we can see this large rounded structure up here. We'll zoom in on. This is known as the head of the femur. Now we can see in the tip of the head of the femur is the small depression here known as the fovea capitis, and the fovea capitis is an attachment site for ligaments that are going to run from the head of the femur to the acetabulum to help hold that femur in place. Now, leading from the head of the femur to the main shaft, this region right here, this is known as the neck. So here we have the neck of the femur. You have this large structure here, which is sort of this large squared off structure. This is known as the greater trochanter. Now, if we have a greater trochanter, that must mean that we also have a lesser trochanter. So this is the greater trochanter here. This is the lesser trochanter here. And this small ridge running between them, this ridge right here, is known as the intertrochanteric ridge. The intertrochanteric ridge. Okay? And so that makes up sort of the proximal portion of the femur. Now, as we run down here, we're basically going to see this line here, which is going to be the gluteal line. This here is something known as the spiral line. Okay, and that's going to lead down into this ridge that runs on the femur. You can kind of see it in a lateral view. And then the posterior view here, this is known as the linea aspera. This is the linea aspera, which is a main attachment site for some muscles. As we move distally, let's go ahead and move distally and zoom in on that distal portion. We see these large rounded structures here. These are the condyles. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, we know that the head goes medially, so that faces the medial side. So we know this is the medial side here. This is going to be the medial condyle. This is the lateral condyle here. Okay, so we have medial condyle, lateral condyle, and then we have this depression here, which is known as the intercondylar fossa, or the depression between the condyles, the intercondylar fossa. This here is known as the popliteal surface, that sort of depression right there. Okay, then if we have the condyles, these little nubs here, these are going to be in the epicondyles. So we have one here on the medial side, and we have one here on the lateral side. So this is going to be a lateral epicondyle. This is going to be our medial epicondyle. Okay, and then here we have our patellar surface, and this is where the patella is going to sit anteriorly. So this is going to be the anterior portion of the femur here, and this is the posterior portion. So if you see these large rounded condyles here, you know you're looking at that posterior portion. And those are the parts of the femur.